One Percenter Podcast with Sam Bakhtiar, bringing you the 1% knowledge to help you reach your full potential. Learn what it takes to rise above the 99% and become a one percenter.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Sam Bakhtiar, the host of the One Percenter Podcast, and I got my buddy, my colleague, transformation expert, Steve Campolo.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me, brother.
Well, I appreciate it, man. You came all the way from the East Coast?
From Florida, baby.
Gosh,
Naples,
man.
Florida.
Coast to coast, brother.
Coast to coast, man. Yeah.
So, brother, you're a transformation expert.
Yep.
Let's talk about that. What is transformation expert in your eyes?
So, well, what is transformation, right? Because when you hear transformation, you think about just looking better. Most people want to look better. That's great. That's a great goal to have. But how does that translate into other areas of your life, right? I mean, I've transformed my body. I was 100 pounds overweight at one point myself, and I know at one point in your life you were out of shape too, right?
Always.
So I met you about a week ago in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
We were both speaking at an event down there, and you said one thing that just really resonated with me. And you said, when you decided to take action and change your life and get in better shape, you were making more money. And I'm like, man, that's so true. Because when you make that one decision to just get in better shape and change your health, it transcends all areas of your life. And that's when I know I wanted to talk to you about that.
Well, how have you been doing it? I know you have thousands of people get in shape, transform their lives, right? How have you approached it?
So it started just by me, obviously taking control of my own life, getting in better shape. But I'll be honest, man, like I really didn't think that I could make a business out of it and help people when I first got started.
Same.
So I stayed away from fitness for a while. I mean, I worked the Gold's Gym when I was younger because I was just obsessed with the lifestyle. I trained with pro bodybuilders. I did a bodybuilding show when I was 18 years old. I was really like just enthralled with the whole lifestyle. All I cared about was just looking good, being big, being strong, right? Just, typical teenage guy. And that always stood with me. It was always a part of who I was. I was obsessed with fitness. I was always at the gym. But I was going to college, working at Gold's Gym part-time, and I'm like, all right, this isn't gonna make me money, right? There was no Instagram. This is back in 2008, 2010. So Instagram, Facebook were kind of just coming out maybe, right? But I got my business degree, got my economics degree. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go in the business world. So I went to work in corporate America. Meanwhile, I was always helping friends and family with their nutrition, with training. So it was always a deep passion of mine. I was always making time for the gym, right? Always dieting.
It was a passion. It was something you love to do, but you haven't figured out how to be able to at least pay the bills with it.
Exactly. So, little by little, I was seeing all these other guys out there sharing their knowledge, sharing this information. And I'm like, man, like these guys aren't any smarter than me. They're not like necessarily in better shape than I am, right? But, I'm like, there's so many guys doing this. I'm like, how am I going to stand out in a saturated industry? I mean, fitness is one of those markets where it's like everyone and their mother is a fitness expert, right?
Yeah, and the problem is because there is no accreditation. You want to go to become a chiropractor, right? You got to go, to 3.5 years of school.
Right.
You have to, get your undergrad. You want to become a dentist, the same thing. With fitness expert, you can read a book and all of a sudden you're a fitness expert.
Anyone could go on Instagram and say, I'm a fitness expert. And I always tell people there's a lot of good information out there, but there's a lot of bad information out there as well, right? And fitness is one of those things where, it's all how you market it, right? You've seen it, all the different diets, all the different fitness trends. What's the flavor of the week today? Is it the keto diet? Is it the carnivore diet? Is it intermittent fasting? So I knew there was a lot of information out there. There was a lot of people out there sharing this information. But one day I woke up, I just had this epiphany. I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of people doing this, but no one is me. No one has my voice. No one has my story. And I'm going to start sharing how I lost weight, and maybe it will resonate with other people out there. And that's really how it started. I started sharing just my own philosophy, my own theories on how to get in better shape. What I did that worked, I started putting it out there on Instagram. And little by little, man, this was maybe 1.5 years ago, and people were hungry for information.
I love it, man. I love it because you're a fitness guy. I got so many questions for you, because I know how I would approach it, but I always love to see how other people approach it, right? So how do you approach someone that comes to you, let's just say, 50, 60 pounds overweight, and now they want to get in shape, they're in their like mid-30s, right? How do you approach it?
So I always look at what are they doing right now, right? I mean, so
Very good.
when someone reaches out to me, I essentially put them through an interview process. I mean, that's what it is, because people want to get results quick, right? But I need to make sure that they're qualified and able to put in the work and do what I say, because I turn away a lot of people that reach out to me for coaching, because I always say, listen, if I'm going to work with you, I want to use your before photo and your after photo to show you off to the world. And the only way that's going to happen is if you are willing to put in the work,
And stick to the program.
do the training, do the nutrition, and stick to the program, right? Because everyone wants a quick fix. And I'm not about that. I'm about creating a lifestyle for people. So we really have to evaluate, well, what have you been doing up until this point? Why are you reaching out to me, right? What is your training? Are you training right now? Or are you following any particular type of diet right now? So I asked them all these questions, and based on what they're telling me, it's like, okay, well, here's my my way of doing things, right? Tracking calories. Most people don't really know how much they're consuming. So that's why with me, I always have my clients start tracking their calories. So that way they could see, okay, I thought I've been eating healthy. I thought I've been eating chicken and making the right food choices, but I've been eating 3,000 calories a day when I thought I was eating 2,000 calories a day. So I always say, what gets measured gets managed. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it, right? So really just taking a look at what have they been doing that is broken and hasn't been working up until that point.
Kind of like a doctor, right? You got to sit down and you got to know the history.
Exactly.
Right? If somebody's coming 50, 60 pounds overweight, or they might, some people will actually be training really hard and dieting really hard, and then you're like, wait a second, maybe we need to do your blood work.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something wrong with your thyroid. If you're telling me you're doing an hour of cardio and and you're eating perfectly, then something got to be wrong, right? So you got to kind of look into the history.
Here's the crazy thing. So most people have history with working with personal trainers. Most people are actually putting in the work. Like, what I've been more surprised about over the past year is most people that come to me, they've been training for quite a while. They've been in fitness for quite a while, right?
They know what to do.
They know what to do.
They know what to do.
But here's the thing. It's like, okay, you're paying a personal trainer all this money to, train you, and you're putting in the work, right? But that's only addressing 15% of the problem, because I always say nutrition is 85% of the way you look, right? What you put in your mouth, I mean, you can go to the gym and train for 2 hours a day and maybe burn 1,000 calories. But if you're eating 4,000 calories a day, man, it doesn't matter how much you're training, right?
You can't outrun a fork.
You cannot train a bad diet. That's what I say, same thing, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are actually willing to put in the work, but really it's about taking the puzzle pieces and putting them in the right place and prioritizing what is most important, which I always say is nutrition, right?
It was so funny. I was talking to a woman earlier, and she said she's a social drinker. And I said, well, what are your goals? She goes, well, I want to lose 25 pounds. I'm like, well, how important is social drinking versus your goal? Because I want to tell you right now, you can't socially drink and lose 25 pounds.
Right.
I'm like, are you willing to give up social drinking? Because if not, then let's not have this conversation.
Right.
It's all about where you are in life. Because I remember when I was younger and I was competing at the highest level, I was willing to give up everything. I didn't mind eating chicken breast and broccoli for 7 days straight.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now as I'm older, there's some things I don't want to give up. Like I want to be able to go out there with my kids and have pizza and ice cream once a week.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it all depends, like you said, where they are in life and all that kind of stuff. Now, there are some people who know how to eat correctly. They know some people how to eat correctly, and they know how to exercise correctly. They know all of that. But yet, they lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. Because at the end of the day, you have to agree with this, right? That if you want to lose weight, it's a matter of calories in, calories out.
It's a math equation, yeah.
It's like balancing a checkbook, right? So if you know that you want to lose weight, you have to eat more. Eat less calories, move more. Then what's the problem?
Well, so let me give you an example. I always tell people I have a coach myself that I work with, right? So I'm a big believer that it's not just eating healthier and training. A lot of the habits that we've had when we were younger stick with us for the rest of our lives.
Rooted.
I love food, man. I'm Italian, right? I grew up in an Italian home, so food is very, it's just important.
It's
family
love.
gathering. It's
love,
love, man. It is, and
Amore.
yeah. So, and I think this is why people, like to work with me, because I'm always, I'm very open with my approach to food. Yeah. I'm an emotional eater, right? So if I have a bad day, if I'm stressed, my first inclination is to go, get a brownie, go get cookies, and just eat. And a lot of people are that same way, right? So sometimes you have to kind of identify, well, what's got me to this point? Why am I out of shape, right? And like you said, a lot of people go up and down on the scale. So for me, I have a coach that I work with, and I send him my photos and I send him my weight every week, because now
Holds you accountable. It's an accountability partner, somebody to call you out on your bullshit when you're not going to call it yourself.
I think accountability is the most important thing, because like you said before, most people, they know how to train. Most people know that they need to make healthier food choices, but who is holding their feet to the fire and making sure that they're doing it on a consistent basis? Because I always tell people this, Monday through Friday, you can have the perfect routine. You can go to the gym every single day, you could hit your calories perfectly, but if on the weekends you go crazy and you treat it like a free-for-all and you're not working out, or you're eating whatever you want, guess what's gonna happen? And I did this for years, right? Monday morning, you're back on the roller coaster.
I mean, weekend is like 30% of your time. So, I mean, how can you mess up 30%? If you mess up 30% on your test,
Right.
you basically got a C minus.
Right.
I don't know if you want a C minus body, but I'm not doing all that work.
That's
for
a great way to
C-minus
put
body,
it.
you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's a great way to put it.
So it's crazy when people just do that, and to me, it's, people always ask me, how many days a week do you work out? I'm like, workout is movement. You understand,
Yeah.
right? Well, workout is not necessarily going to the gym and throwing up a bunch of weight or running a marathon. Working out is just moving every single
Right.
day. And to me, movement is life.
Right.
So I work out every day. Some days I might go and squat 500 pounds, and some day I might just go for a brisk walk around the
Right.
block
Yeah.
with the dog.
Yeah.
But I move every single day. Don't you
Right.
agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I always tell people consistency is key to your success.
Yeah.
Anyone could follow a strict diet and a strict training program for a week, maybe 2 weeks, right? But if you can't do it consistently, if you cannot follow a plan or a program that you can be consistent with and really turn it into a lifestyle, then what's the point, right? If I get you in the best shape of your life in 12 weeks, but after 12 weeks, you revert back to your old patterns and habits, then what did we really achieve, right?
Nothing. Depression.
Exactly.
Depression.
Exactly. Because most people, and the stats are crazy, 85% of people that start a fitness program and lose all the weight, they regain it. Those statistics are scary, right?
It is scary because it's just, you put in all this work, all this effort for you to just go back.
Yeah.
And to me, man, if you just have a steady pace, it'll be so awesome. I have another question for you. So, when you're working with someone, let's just say you have your 12-week challenge that you're starting out here pretty soon.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that launching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How often do you think that someone should change their exercise program?
Okay, so I believe that as your body changes, as you gain lean muscle, as you drop body fat, as your body composition begins to change, you need to adjust your calories and your training in order to support that, right? Because as you gain lean muscle, as you drop body fat, your body's demands change and your body's requirements change, right? I mean, if you're 200 pounds and you put on 10 pounds of lean muscle in the next 30 to 60 days, well, now your body is gonna maybe require more calories. So me personally, every week when I check in with my clients, I adjust their calories and I change their training every 4 weeks, right? In order to provide a stimulus for growth and change. Because your body is very good at adapting. Like I always explain this to people. Your body does not want to be under 10% body fat, right? Your body does not want to be shredded and lean. It's not designed for that. Your body is built for survival, right? So that's why people losing the initial 50 pounds, that's relatively easy. But when you have a guy who's kind of lean, maybe in the 14% body fat range, and they just want to get to 10% body fat and lose that last 10 to 20 pounds.
It's a whole different ballgame.
It's a whole different ballgame, and you have to be a lot more strategic with your nutrition, right? Because what got you, from point A to B might not necessarily get you from point B to C, so you have to make those changes and adjustments.
The way I always tell my clients is that when you stop at the stoplight and you jump on your car, it picks up speed really fast. Every time you go closer to the top speed, every mile takes longer and longer to get there. And so it's so much easier to lose the first 50 pounds than to drop the last 2-3% body fat. To get in your tip top shape.
Right.
The reason I asked you that is because I have people that that want to change their training every single week and every 2 weeks and all that kind of stuff, and I don't really believe in that.
No.
To me, the way I think you get in shape, not just in physically, but just actually mentally or just success in general, is what I call the compound effect. Little things done correctly over a long time.
Yeah.
that gets big results.
Right.
I'm looking at, it's funny because I'm looking at, like, say, for example, how Manny Pacquiao gets ready for his boxing match, or Floyd Mayweather gets for his boxing match. They follow the same recipe.
All the way through.
The same recipe. This in the morning we do, run for 5 miles, do some boxing for 30 minutes, and they have a system.
All right.
And when I was competing, I came out with a system. Mondays, here's what I work on. Tuesdays, here I work on. Wednesdays, here I work on. And I had a whole system put together. And then when I see people just changing it up all the time, just for the sake of changing it up, it's kind of like, I'm like, wait a second, you don't need to change it that much. All you have to do is stick to it.
Right.
Because if you change it up all the time, you don't know what's working and what's not working.
Good point.
One of my mentors told me this. He goes, the theory of muscle confusion. Mm-hmm. And I believe in that. But one of my mentors said, the great Bill Phillips, he said, Sam, he goes, muscles don't get confused. People do.
I love that. That's so true. It's so true.
A flexion, bicep is flexion, tricep is extension.
Right.
There's no confusion to that movement.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So, what do you think is the biggest mistake people do when they're trying to lose weight?
There's a lot. I mean, so most people are extremists, right?
Yeah.
They want to lose weight overnight.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, man. When I want to get in shape and get lean, I don't want to have to do it over a period of 30, 60, 90 days. I want to get lean quick. So what do most people do? They do these crash diets. They cut their calories by a crazy amount. They overdo cardio. They overdo training. They might lose a little bit of weight the first 3, 4 days, 5 days. But then what happens? Their hormones plummet. Their leptin, ghrelin levels, which are your hunger hormones, they go out of whack, right? So now, like we talked about before, your body's job is to keep you alive. Mm-hmm. So as a survival mechanism, you get these crazy cravings. Your hormones are signaling to your brain, hey, we're starving, we need food. So you get cravings for sweet, salt, and then you end up binging by Friday, right? So you started this crazy diet on Monday, and by Friday, you're off the rails, and what happens Monday morning? You're back trying to do this crash diet again, right? So people need to realize, okay, what is sustainable? And I always go back to, this is not a quick fix. It's not a 12-week program. It's not a 6-month program. You need to follow something that you're going to be able to follow for the rest of your life, right? And I always say, being fat is hard. Being fit is hard.
Choose your hard.
You have to choose which hard you want, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people have to realize there's no such thing as an easy easy way about going about doing it. Now, I will say, the longer you train, the longer you eat healthy and make healthier decisions, it's easier because you become addicted to feeling good, right? Like I feel like crap if I don't go work out every day. If I'm not eating healthy, my body just doesn't physically feel good. So I am at a point now where it's become such a habit that I crave it and I need that. And that's why I always tell people, listen, do this for 21 days. Do it for 30 days. I guarantee you'll become so addicted to feeling good that you won't be able to go back to how you were before. And most people, I mean, they could attest to that. They lose 10, 20 pounds in the first 30 days. They've been overweight. Like, man, I can't believe I waited this long to really make a decision to take control of my health.
What do you think is a good average weight loss for somebody who's trying to lose weight every week?
So it depends, right? Because it depends how overweight someone is. I mean, me personally, I think 2 to 5 pounds is sustainable. Now, if you have someone like me, let's say, I'm looking to just get leaner, get that next level leanness, 1 to 2 pounds, I think is very sustainable. I've had people that have, not followed a nutrition program and not have trained really ever, and they'll drop 10 pounds in the first week because their body's not used to it.
100%.
Right?
100%.
So everyone is different.
100%.
The more weight you have to, so the more weight you have to lose, it's going to come off quickly. But then again, like I said before, the longer you follow this, your body is going to start to push back a little bit. So that's when you have to start making changes to your nutrition and training.
Yeah, it's funny when it comes to clients. I think it's a double-edged sword. Like you said, we live in a microwave society where everybody wants to drop weight overnight.
Yeah.
Right. But in the meantime, we understand that you want to do it, you have to do it correctly. It might take a little slower. It might be a little slower, but in the long term, you get better results, right? However, if you don't get people some quick results right away, they get discouraged.
Yeah.
like, oh man, 1 or 2 pounds, 2 pounds is not good enough for them to keep going. They're not motivated by
Right.
it. How do you overcome that?
So most people that start with me, I would say almost 99%, once we put them on a structured nutrition program and a structured training program,
They automatically drop fast.
They automatically drop fast
automatically, 100%.
because they've either been following the wrong information, they haven't been calculating how much they're actually consuming, so they see results quickly, which is really encouraging. Now, on the flip side, the longer we work together,
slower it becomes.
It starts to slow down. So they say, hey, I was seeing all these changes in the beginning, and now things are starting to slow down. So you have to just educate them and say, listen, again, this is perfectly normal, right? Like that's why a lot of people get frustrated and they don't keep it as a lifestyle because they hit plateaus, and then what worked in week 1 to week 8 maybe isn't working anymore.
Yep.
So now that's when you do have to get a little more creative and have that knowledge to change things up to force your body to continue to make progress and change.
I believe that, man. By somebody normal just cutting out fried foods, cutting out the refined sugars, and just do some kind of a movement, you see immediate results.
Yeah.
Now, that results come to a halt after a while, and that's when you actually are starting to build.
Yeah.
Because the first results is just your body going from being anabolic to being in a catabolic state and trying to get rid of everything.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think about the psychology of weight loss?
Oh man, it's the most important thing. It's the one thing I think most people don't understand and don't talk about. And I think it's really the biggest need in the fitness industry. I mean, you're involved in it firsthand, right? The supplements, the training, the diet. Very important pillars of fitness. I would say those are probably the 3 main pillars of fitness, right? But what is the thought process behind, sustaining that, following the program the way it's designed, right? A lot of people have issues with food. Food is a drug. I always say that. I mean, listen.
The most powerful drug.
The most powerful drug there is. I was 100 pounds overweight when I was younger, right? So even today, I still love food. I always tell, listen, just because you get in shape and change your life and now, you're fit and you look good.
You're not a robot.
You're not a robot, man. Like, I don't just want to eat chicken and broccoli all day. If you put a piece of cake in front of me, and it's sitting there long enough, I'm going to talk myself into eating it, right? So people have to realize, listen, I'm human. The people you see on the magazines that have abs and are shredded are just like you. We're all the same. We all have the same struggles with food. We all, there are some mornings I don't want to go to the gym, man. I don't want to go work out. I'm just not feeling it. I've had some days where I drive to the gym and sit in my car for 20 minutes and try to talk myself into going in there, and I just drive home because I'm just not feeling it that day. So I think people need to realize, listen, we're all human, man. It's not easy, right? But it's okay. Like, you don't have to be perfect to get the body of your dreams.
No, yeah.
Right?
Everybody's always either black or white. It is not that. You know what I mean? As long as you're doing more good than bad.
Right.
You're going to be able to tip the scale your way and be able to make, little changes, from there. I get a lot of clients who have problem getting weight because of support. Their spouse don't support it, or they go home and one spouse is eating, very clean, the other spouse is eating junk.
Yeah.
So do you get that, and how do you overcome that?
So one of the first questions I always ask is, whether it's working with a man or a woman, is does your spouse support your decision to lose weight? Because your support, or who you have around you supporting you, is one of the most important decisions, right?
Yes.
And if they say 100% they're behind me doing this, then I say, okay, that's awesome. But if they say on the flip side, maybe they're fighting them on that front, or they don't want them to invest the money in their body and health, I know it's still possible to change, but I know it's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because your support system is critical. And that's why, again, I think having a coach is critical, right? Because they're giving you that accountability and that support. So if you have questions, if things slow down, if you have a concern, they're able to kind of walk you through it, right? But if you have someone that's maybe pulling you the other direction, hey babe, let's go out to eat, it's Friday night, let's go get a drink, it's going to be that much harder, right?
Yeah. So when it comes to quality of food, I know you count calories, but do you subscribe to all calories are equal?
No. So I believe in a more flexible approach. Because like you said, we're not robots, right? People aren't programmed to just eat chicken and broccoli 6 times a day. It's hard. So I always say this, listen, if you could be consistent 80%, with 80% of your food choices, if they can come from whole sources, lean meats, eggs, healthier fats, avocados, whole grain rice, oats, things like that, then the other 20% of the time, you can fit in the things you like. You could have a cookie, you could have a brownie here and there, you could have a little bit of ice cream with your kids, right? People need to feel like they're able to still enjoy the foods they love. Because if I tell you right now, you are not allowed to have pizza for the next 30 days, what are you going to be consumed by for the next 30 days? Just psychologically, just pizza, right? So when you tell people they can't eat certain foods, psychologically, they will convince themselves to eat that food, right?
Now on the flip side, if you say, a more flexible plan, right? I know for me, if I have one cookie, it's over.
I'm the same way.
You know what I mean? Like the whole box of cookie will be gone.
Yeah.
So I've learned that I can't even do that.
Right.
For me, personally. Now I don't know, some people can eat a cookie and okay, I'm good, I'm satisfied.
Right.
But once I go down that road, that is pretty bad. I don't know if I told you this, but I was at Penn State. I was 2 weeks out from Mr. Pittsburgh Bodybuilding Championship, which was my second bodybuilding show at the time. I was like 20 years old. I was taking 18 units, and I was working 30 hours as a personal trainer. On the weekends, I was bouncing at a cowboy bar. And one night, I was so stressed out, I just got out of the middle. I would go to bed early so I don't think about food. I got out literally around midnight, starving, stressed out. All my, survival mechanism was like, go eat.
Yeah.
And I lost it. I literally went and got like a dozen donuts, some burritos, and, I went on a serious binge, right? And then I woke up the next morning, I was so down on myself. I'm like, Sam, you're such a loser. You're trying to be a bodybuilder. You can't even stick to your diet 2 weeks before the show. I dropped out. And then for 2 weeks, I was just depressed. I was just eating nothing but junk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I went to the bodybuilding show as a spectator. And I was like, you know what? I would have won even after eating 2 weeks of junk. So I beat myself.
Yeah.
And then I learned, man, it's okay every once in a while, if you take a step back. It's okay to have a setback as long as you don't let your setback set you back.
Exactly. So I mean, listen, I always say, no one is perfect, man. Like, I'm going to have days where I'm going to slip up. I'm in LA right now, right? Last night, I went out to dinner. I enjoyed some food. I know I overate my calories, but it's like, am I going to wake up today and just think about, messing up my diet yesterday? Or I'm going to say, screw it. That was yesterday. It's a new day. I'm going to get to the gym. I'm going to get back on my nutrition program. And that's it. I mean, I always tell people, listen, like, it's like taking, 2 steps back, but 3 steps forward, right? We're all human. We all struggle with the same things, man. No one is perfect. I'm not expecting myself or my clients to be on a lifelong diet for the rest of their lives without slip-ups, because most people, when they start, they believe they have to be perfect. And if they slip up just once, like you just said, what happens? The next day, they wake up, they're down on themselves, and they go down this rabbit hole. And one day of bad eating turns into 2 days, and then a week, and then 2 weeks, and then what happens? They're right back to where they started, right? So you have to recognize it, but then just make adjustments and continue to move forward.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, man. It's crazy. Now, how important it is, because a lot of times now I go out to eat, and it's so sad, man, because I see a family sitting, at a dinner table out. Everybody has their phones and iPads out. And I see kids that are there. Nobody's talking to each other. And everybody's overweight at the table. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is exactly what I don't want. How important it is for parents to set the right example for their kids. Because a lot of times, if the parents are not going to do that for themselves, they will got to do that for their children.
Right. So I've been really surprised by how many people I've spoken with over the past few months who have come to me for coaching. And I asked them, like, so why do you want to do this? Why is it important to you at your age, at 40, 50, to get in the best shape of your life? And I've been really surprised by the answer that they give me. A lot of them say, I want to set the right example for my kids. They realize, they're out of shape. They haven't been making the right nutrition choices. And maybe they see the same trend happening in their kids, right? So now they're like, you know what? It's time to make a change. Not just for me, but now it's for my family. And when you throw that element in there, it's not just about looking better with your shirt off, right?
Now it's a whole different why.
Now you're affecting your kids' lives. I mean, think about that. The examples you set for your kids, that's going to carry over with them, hopefully for the rest of their lives, right? So that's a powerful, really powerful stimulus for change.
I'm a skinny guy. I want to put on size.
Mm-hmm.
What will be your advice to me?
Well, I'm going to ask you what your nutrition is like, because a lot of guys, they just don't eat enough to put on size, right? So most people struggle with the opposite. Most people want to lose weight, you know, which is relatively easy. Okay, well, you're probably eating too much. Now, for guys that are looking to put on size, they have the opposite problem. They think they're eating enough, but when you look at it, they're not really eating as much as they think they are, right? So most skinny guys are actually training quite a bit. The training really isn't so much an issue as the food is, right? Are they getting enough protein? Are they getting enough carbs and fats? Are they getting enough overall calories? So I always tell guys, listen, just start tracking your calories. Like, see how many calories you're consuming. I use a simple calculation. I'm like, you know, take your body weight, multiply it by 18, right? That should give you a good starting point. That's over your maintenance calories. And start there. Weigh yourself on day one.
I love the way you did that, because I believe in simplification.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. So weigh yourself on day one. Weigh yourself on day 14. Give yourself 2 weeks, right? I think 1 week is a little too soon to really give your body time to start putting muscle on. And see what your weight did. Did your weight go up? Okay, how much did it go up? Did it go up 1 pound, 2 pounds? If your weight is unchanged, well, guess what? You're not eating enough. Let's increase your calories a few hundred calories per day. Do the same thing. Weigh yourself on day 1, weigh yourself on day 14. Is your weight changing, right? The problem is most people aren't measuring what they're consuming, right? So they look in the mirror, they say, well, I don't think I'm gaining muscle. Well, are you gaining weight on the scale? Maybe you are gaining muscle, right? So people just need to be better at measuring. People don't want to put in that extra effort and measure things.
But it's also quality of muscle, not just quantity on the scale.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, I can show you, pictures of me competing 5 years in a row. You know, let's just say it was 2000, 2001, 2002, all the way to 2005. And I stepped on stage at 176 pounds every single year. So technically in 5 years, I didn't put on any muscle, right? But when you look at 170, 5 years ago to the 5 years here, you were like, oh my God, doesn't even look like the same person, even though it was the same exact weight.
Right.
So the quality, and the muscle maturity, that kind of stuff is a real thing.
And it takes time, man.
Oh yeah.
Putting muscle on takes a lot longer than losing fat.
100%.
Right? A fat loss transformation happens relatively quickly. Putting lean mass on your body takes months and years of just discipline and consistency. And unfortunately, that's why a lot of guys are running to GNC to buy all the supplements, because they promise that you're going to put on 10 pounds in a week, right? Or they get into drugs, and then you have a whole different issue. So, building your body, putting on muscle is just, you just have to look at it as, it's going to take time, but
you have to be committed to the process.
You have to be.
You got to fall in love with the process.
Exactly.
Be committed to the process and be committed to being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
And again, we talked about success, and I think that once I would get under the iron, that's how my life changed, because I learned to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's one thing, you have life happening, but it's another thing that you have a 300-pound bar that you have to lift, and if you don't lift, it's going to crush your sternum.
Right.
You know what I mean? Do you work with competitors?
I have a few. They're some of the most difficult clients because...
Thank you. That's why I asked you that.
Because they're extremists, right? Yeah. I'm an extremist myself. I don't make excuses for it. I mean, fitness is my life, so I push myself hard in the gym. I push myself hard on my nutrition, right? But competitors are just next level extreme, because now they have a date that they need to be ready by. They need to be under 7% body fat on this date, right? So they're stressed because they're training hard. They're stressed because they're dieting hard. A lot of times they're training twice a day. They're doing cardio on top of the training, right? Hours of cardio. So they're some of the most difficult clients, and rightfully so, because again, they have a hard deadline they have to be ready for, right? So they're in a whole category all on their own, I think.
Yeah, man. I thought they're some of the most high maintenance.
Oh, for sure.
As well, you know. And I
For
remember at a certain point in my career, I stopped working with them because I mean the amount of maintenance and the amount of, I felt like they need more of a psychologist.
Yeah.
Than than a nutritionist.
Right. And plus, I mean, too, because again, they're getting ready for a certain date, right? Yeah. So now you're manipulating different things in the body, cutting water, introducing carbs, right, in order to get all the vascularity to come out. Because again, if you're stepping on stage at 7 p.m. on Saturday night, you have to look your best at that time on that moment, day, right? So that's totally different than someone just looking to get in better shape. Yeah. Now you have a totally different element to it. So yeah, as far as maintenance goes, they are the most high maintenance clients. But it's just kind of the nature of it, right? So I don't work with many of them, but I have for sure. Yeah.
So tell me about your 12-week transformation program that you're launching pretty soon.
Yeah. So I mean, again, this is for people that are really looking to take their physique to the next level, right? And like we said before, a lot of people have been doing the right things, but they haven't had someone to really observe and watch them and make sure that they're following everything correctly. They haven't had someone to make sure, they're tracking their calories every day. They're hitting their workouts every day. And some people, they need that extra level of accountability to take their body to the next level. Because most people are doing the right things 80% of the time, right? But like I said before, on the weekends, when you take your eyeballs off of what you've been doing that's working, every Monday morning you're starting over again, right? So keeping people consistent week over week over week, they look back in 12 weeks, they're like, holy crap, man, my body transformed, right? Because they had someone holding their hand, keeping them accountable, kicking them in the butt, making sure that they're doing what they have to do. Because if they fall off, if their weight didn't change this week, guess what? They know that I'm gonna be reaching out to them saying, hey man, what happened? Yeah. Why is your weight up a pound this week? And they know they have to answer to someone. Whereas when left to our own devices, we're not going to be that strict with ourselves, right? Yeah. We might be for 5 days, but then like I said, what happens when it's a Friday night and you're sitting home and you're bored and there's some ice cream in the fridge, you're probably going to talk yourself into eating it, right? Whereas if you have someone the next day that you have to upload your photos and your weight, you're going to be a lot less likely to slip up.
That accountability is huge.
Yeah.
What's your favorite supplement right now?
So I don't take many supplements. Having whey protein is really a staple, just because it allows me to get more protein. So like I'll put a scoop of whey protein into some plain Greek yogurt, and it's really like one of my favorite treats. I do it almost every night. It tastes like pudding.
So you get a Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, and put like a scoop of vanilla protein.
Scoop of vanilla or chocolate protein, mix it up, put some cinnamon, and it's amazing, man. High protein. The macros are great, low calorie, and it's something I have. Most of my clients love it. But as far as like pre-workouts and stuff, I'm a big coffee drinker. I drink 3-4 cups of coffee a day. I don't really take too many supplements. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
What is your favorite leg exercise for getting big quads?
Squats.
Love it. What's your favorite exercise for getting big chest?
Incline bench.
What's your favorite exercise for getting a nice wide back?
Bent over T-bar rows.
Damn, you just read my mind. Jesus.
I know, man.
Oh my God.
I know it.
How about for getting shoulders?
I love doing side lateral delt raises. Yeah. If you're looking to build width, I think doing lateral raises are the best.
Okay. Now how about abs?
Ooh. Leg raises. Because most people have the upper and the middle for abs, right? But to really develop that V, that lower abdominal region, you have to do leg lifts.
Yeah, I hate those.
I hate them too, man. But it's
you almost feel like you have a hernia.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, is it down there or is it in my abs?
The next day you cough and you have like, what is it?
Yeah. What is that, right?
Yeah.
How about if you're looking to put on some good quality muscle without packing on a bunch of fat? Mm-hmm. What is your favorite meal consist of?
Ooh.
I know what mine is.
Yeah. So I'm a big salad guy. Mm-hmm. So I love to do like a big salad with like a pound of protein on there. So like a lean red meat, some avocados, maybe a little bit of rice. Just really whole healthy foods. I mean, I've been doing this so long where after I work out, like I crave protein. Mm-hmm. Like I've trained my body to crave the healthier foods, right? So yeah, just something simple like that, like a big salad with a bunch of protein, some healthy fats, maybe a little bit of rice, maybe a sweet potato, something like that.
Yeah, mine will be same.
Yeah.
It'll be like a filet mignon. You know what I mean? Some jasmine rice. And it'll be some sort of a salad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a perfect combination.
Yeah, perfect combination for everything.
Yeah.
Going forward, what do you want to achieve in the fitness industry? What are some of your big, audacious goals?
That's a good question. It's something I haven't really put too much thought into, because right now I'm just taking things day by day. I mean, I started about 1.5 years ago just by wanting to help one person.
And you're killing it.
Yeah, I mean, I said if I could help one person get in better shape, then that would be a huge achievement. It's gotten to the point now where I literally have, testimonials sent to me every single day, transformation photos sent to me every single day. And, I always keep that at the forefront, right? This isn't, just a business for me. This is really putting people first and making sure that they're living healthier lives. And I know if I'm taking care of that, then everything else will take care of itself, right? So just taking things one day at a time, man. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome, man. So for people who haven't heard from you, don't know where you are, where can they find more information?
So the best place is Instagram, at Stephen with a PH, S-T-E-P-H-E-N, Campolo, C-A-M-P-O-L-O. Message me on there, DM me on there. I'm always getting back to people as soon as I can. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. It was awesome. I'll have to do it again.